Barely 24 hours after a court ruling that sentenced him to prison for contempt of court, Director General of the National Council for Sports, for Arts and Culture, Olusegun Runsewe, says that he is being victimized for shutting down the arts and craft village located in the Central Business District, Abuja, to interested persons, saying that the property was shut down because it was being used as a drug den and hideout for criminals. He disclosed further that the Nigerian police has since ordered that it should be reopened. Mr. Runsewe, however, refused to entertain further questions on the court order committing him to prison for contempt of court. Now, what does this mean to Runsewe himself? Will he budge or not to the court order? Is he correct in his submissions? What if there is more to it? In whose favor will it be? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, on channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We have all our platforms on social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. On Thursday, January the 9th, governors of Nigeria's 6 southwest states of Ogun, Osun, Oyo, Ekiti, Ondo, and Lagos launched the Western Nigeria Security Network called Operation Amotekun in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti, and Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo were present there. They relied on Section 14, Subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution as they based the establishment of the security outfit. They say that Amotekun has received the blessings of the federal government and the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu. Are they right, though, in going ahead to set up the operations? We'll focus on that starting now. It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. Let's put security on the table so you get a sense of what we are up against as a nation. The President, Muhammadu Buhari's administration, made a promise to Nigerians. That promise was simple. We will stop corruption, end insecurity, and we'll fix the economy. The President, at different forums, has emphasized time and again that there can't be economic growth without security, and insecurity could fuel corruption itself. The inauguration of President Muhammadu Buhari on the 15th as the 15th President of Nigeria and 4th President of the 4th Republic took place on May 29th, 2015, and subsequently, after, it was then done again the same date in 2019. To tackle insecurity, operations were launched by the government. Operation Harbin Kunama, for instance, Operation Egweke, Crocodile Smile, are just a few of them. Now the governors of the Southwest say that enough is enough with regards to the crimes and insecurity recorded in the zone. They came together just yesterday to launch Operation Amotekun. The governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, who was amongst 3 other governors who were present at that launch of the security outfit, said that it is aimed at protecting the people of Western Nigeria and the country at large, who voted for them into power. Let's wade into this, people. We've been joined now by, with me here in the studio, Mr. Aderele Shinaba is a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on State of the Nation.
Thank you very much, Jimba.
And also, I believe we're also expecting from our Abuja studios a retired captain of the United States Army and a security consultant as well. Bishop Johnson, many thanks indeed to you as well for coming on the show at this time. Let me begin with you, as a matter of fact, Mr. Johnson. You know about the security situations we have been facing in this country, as I have made you to understand in the beginning of my intro to this show. Is there an absolute need to have the governors of the Southwest state establish a Amotekun security outfit?
Gimba, let me get your question correctly.
I said, is there an absolute need for the governors of the Southwest to establish Operation Amotekun?
Yeah, sure. Gimba, if you have been listening to me and you've been following me, I have been one of the ardent supporters of state policing, because I believe that policing is a local thing. Let me tell you, one of the biggest crimes of the Nigerian democracy is when you ask the people to go and govern themselves, you don't allow them to secure themselves. We live in a federal system of government, and so the police shouldn't be centralized the way it is centralized right now. The police should be centralized in such a way that the local people can participate in policing themselves. And so, seeing what is happening in the Southwest, you know, the Southwest, I'm not from the Southwest, but the Southwest has always been a leader in so many of the achievements that we've recorded in this country since the inception of this country. For example, you know that the first radio station probably in the whole of West Africa was launched in southwestern Nigeria. So I am not surprised that the Southwest is equally taking a lead in trying to localize policing. Look, even the federal government itself has recognized that, and the vice president is being quoted to say that the federal government alone cannot police this country. And I completely agree with him. The federal government alone cannot shoulder the responsibility of policing all of Nigeria. The country is too vast. Now, all this regional or local policing that we have been calling for, nobody is agitating for the replacement of the federal police. The federal police will still be in place. But this, whether it's regional police or state police, whichever one it is that this country finally settles with, is just there to complement, you know, the effort of the Nigerian police to ensure that Nigerians, every life in Nigeria is protected. There has been so many needless loss of lives and destruction of property in this country. So if what the Southwest is doing could be a pilot program for Nigerians, for Nigeria to look at and copy from it, and probably duplicate it in all the other geopolitical zones to complement the effort of the Nigerian police in fighting crime in this country, I think it will be quite welcome.
It seems to suggest, according to what you have, your submissions now, that it is indeed sticking out as a sore thumb. That relevant section of the Constitution that has to do with amending it such that we can have maybe more a decentralized police formation in this country. But let me come to Mr. Shinaba here. Do you see this as a major challenge? Because you have the Constitution on one hand. The governors relied on Section 14, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which allows them to, you know, give that level of welfare to people who voted them into power. But did they go about establishing Amotekun in the right way?
Thank you very much, Jimba. I think let us start from the very onset. The Constitution says there shall be only one police force known as the Nigeria Police Force. If there is going to be any other supplementary or complementary effort, it should be a kind of community policing. It's not to go about establishing a rival force in the name or under the guise of saying that we are complementing the efforts of the Nigeria Police Force. We have to be very careful. If we start having regional police here and there, we have 6 geopolitical zones in this country, and I can assure you, we have to be very careful, or else some of these governors will use it to feather their own feathers.
But they've said repeatedly that this is a no argument, and it's a no basis argument if you have to say that they will use it for their own selfish interest, knowing that they're politicians. They have said it time and again. What conviction do you have in yourself to come about that final submission where you believe that, I mean, we've not gotten there yet. So we've not even had the state police or even regional police. But you're already having a mindset that they're going to use it for political gains.
Let us start from the very onset. Right from the First Republic in this country, we started with state, local government police. And we knew what the politicians perpetrated at that time. You can just wake up in the morning and find a corpse at the back of your house, planted there by your own opponent, and they will now bring the local police to come and apprehend you for committing murder. Possibly this corpse was taken from the morgue, from the mortuary. So we are not yet ripe for state police because it will be abused.
Bishop Johnson, let me get back to you. This Amotekun, is it the right thing to do in the face of the security challenges we face today? The governors are saying that it has the blessing of the federal government and the Inspector General of Police looking at this kind of level of criminality which you've alluded to in your opening remarks. But shouldn't the governors have waited to have this incorporated into the Constitution, having that relevant section of the Constitution amended before they go ahead to have what seems to so many at the moment as a regional police force?
Look, Gimba, if you look around the country right now, you will see with me that even some states, there are some form of police in almost every state in this country. They just don't call them police, but they are there. So what we are saying is that the federal government should, give them the legal framework for them to be able to have these local police. I listened to my co-panelists in the studio with you. Look, the times that he is making reference to, those are those days. Those days are over. Days are gone. The world is fast changing. The idea that because the governors are going to abuse the police, if they have state police, therefore we should allow our citizens to continue to die, is completely unacceptable. Now, this argument that he's making is only valid if you say that the federal government has the integrity to not even abuse the federal police, which is at its own disposal. You've seen it in several occasions where the federal government on its own has equally abused the police. So are we saying that because the president, whoever he may be, has abused the police, therefore there shouldn't be a federal police? Of course not. Now, these people are not, because of the fear of those who are saying that governors are going to abuse state police. That is why the Southwest is not doing state police. They are doing regional police, which means that what they are doing is far beyond the control of any one governor in the Southwest. It's not a Lagos State Police or your state police. This is Southwest Police. So I don't know how the governors in the Southwest are going to abuse this thing. By the way, they did not say it's police. He quoted the section of the Constitution where he said there shall be only one Nigerian police. What they have established in the Southwest is Amotekun, which is not Nigerian police. So if you even go to court to challenge it, you're going to fail because they have not established a Nigerian police. What they have established is Amotekun, which is a complementary effort, basically mostly on intelligence gathering, to support the effort of the Nigerian police. If you go to Rivers State, for example...
Let me put you on hold, Bishop Johnson, just for a second or two, and get Mr. Dare, Yomi Dare, of course, the retired colonel of the Nigerian Army, joins us via Skype from Lagos Island. Many thanks indeed for coming. Jump into this one, if you will. What's your views to the setting up of Amotekun as an operation in Western Nigeria? Do you see it as a regional police force?
Thank you very much, Jimba. This is a very topical issue as we speak, and I believe all Nigerians should be interested in this. For me, this initiative by the Southwest governors, so to speak, it's a good one to the extent that all stakeholders are carried along. When I mean stakeholders, I mean all other security agencies, because this set of people are going to work as security agents. So, you know, nobody is an island to himself.
Okay.
So, for example,
Just hold it there. Just hold it for a second or two. The line seems to be breaking, but we're going to go on a short break now. When we come back, I'll let you to land on your thoughts, and then we can continue from there in just a moment. Stay with me. Welcome back. Mr. Yomidare, please continue on your line of thoughts.
Like I was saying, the governors, the base or the hinge, the establishment of these security outfits on Section 14B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And Section 14B says that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Well, nobody is disputing that. What government? We have a federal government, for crying out loud. So what I'm saying here is that if this security personnel or outfits created is going to be limited to just, you know, like what is akin to community policing, but without arms. But when you start to arm these people, you know, when they are armed, so how do you see them functioning? So that is a problem here. That is a major problem here. Okay? Because they are going to be armed. And who knows? I mean, before you say Jack Robinson, they are metamorphosizing into something else.
Okay,
You know?
let me put you on hold there, because you say they might metamorphose into something else. We have had a scenario like that with the OPC, who were very lawful. At some points, some members of them decided to go down, face southwards, and were perpetrating all manners of crimes, and then that OPC was now disbanded. Do you see this taking the same path, if it will?
I can see it taking the same path because these elements we are going to use, the personnel for this Amotekun program, they are not from the heavens. They are part of the integral society where we all belong. And what we are going to face is a kind of proliferation of arms. And the first question is, are these people trained? And who is responsible for their training? Because handling of weapons, you don't just give weapons to people. Because even those who are trained are still misusing their firearms. Not to talk of people that are just brought in. We knew what the OPC did in those days, and I cannot see any difference from them because they will grow. Everybody in Nigeria wants to wear uniform and to carry arms. So, but the point is, the abuse is my fear for this country.
Mr. Bishop Johnson, the greatest fear now is that this is a laudable initiative, but it might go down south, just as OPC did. What are your concerns along that line?
No, you see, I don't have concerns along that line. That can only happen if the federal government does not step in and do its job. Look, the responsibility of federal government, the central government in any federal system of government, this is not the first. And this is the second centralized federal system that I have lived in. As you know, Gemba, the job of the central government is to supervise the component units. So the federal government has to step in here, lay the legal framework, and do its supervisory role. That is the job of the federal government, supervise, regulate. But if the federal government fails in its responsibility to supervise and regulate these people and they start abusing it, that is the fault of the federal government. The federal government has a responsibility to play here. That is why we have been calling for a legal framework so that the states can legally have their own state police that will be well regulated by the federal government. To the extent that whatever arm is coming into this country, the federal government will know what type, what quantity, where is it going to, and stuff like that. There's already proliferation of arms in this country, as you are aware of. Our borders are so porous. that arms are even coming in from, not even from the Amotekun people you're talking about. The bandits, the terrorists, the kidnappers, all of them have their own arms. So if you are worried about arms of Amotekun people, you should be more concerned about the kidnappers and the bandits and the armed robbers that are already armed. Those are the people that you need to be concerned about the arms in their hands.
Okay, let's get Yomi Dare to come inside again, because concerns about safety and security are substantial in Nigeria. Crime is high, and the police are considered, in most cases, corrupt and inefficient. Many scholars and researchers have disagreed to that very view, though. But do you agree that the structure of law enforcement does not help whatsoever? Police are run at federal level in Abuja, despite the long-standing calls for a state force. What is the way forward?
Well, thank you very much, Jimba. I think we really need to wake up to reality in this country. For me, policing, we must try as much as possible to decentralize policing. You know, people keep saying that it's going to be subject to or subjected to abuse by state governors. For crying out loud, the state governor is voted in to serve for 4 years. And if he doesn't perform, the people are watching. People are growing. Nigeria is developing. And if he doesn't perform, he'll not be allowed to come back. Okay? So, I mean, community policing, as far as I'm concerned, is the way to go. I'm a very strong advocate of community policing. I'm talking about community policing. Like I said the last time, you don't necessarily have to even carry arms. You don't have to. You carry out intensive, what you call intensive, information gathering. You get people, you get agents, and put them on a paycheck. So they give you information, serious information that is good enough for you to even apprehend criminals and prosecute them. So
okay,
that's my take.
Okay, Mr. Shidaba, that's his take. But what's your take looking forward and trying to proffer solutions to this? Do you think, in all honesty, that Amotekun should stay? Or should it go through the National Assembly, go through the Constitution Amendment before we have an outfit like this? Or would you rather that people be killed, kidnappers go on rampage, and then all manners of crime continues?
I have nothing against the Amotekun as a project. I have nothing against it. Well, in whatever we are going to do, due process must be followed. Now, the Amotekun should be seen as, like Onedare said, as a kind of community policing. What we require is community policing. Even in Britain, which is the home of community policing, you don't arm people as against the regular police over there to support or complement the efforts of the regular police. There are many ways by which you and I can support the police and make them more efficient. Information is key in policing, and this is what people are supposed to pass on to the police. We have had cases where people complain that the Nigeria police, if they pass information to them, they are the ones who will tell the criminals and things like that. We have, when I was the commissioner of police in many states like Kano, Kano, Adamawa, Federal Capital Territory, and the likes, I give out numbers and I tell you that this is our control room number. Pass your information, and if any policeman asks you who is speaking, or tell the person that the commissioner of police has said you should not disclose your identity, and that is all. All you need to do is to take the information. We can support the police, but if we think we are hiding under one finger, behind one finger, in the name of creating another police force, I think we need to have a rethink about that.
That's a good place to let this discussion come to a close. I most sincerely thank you for talking to us here on State of the Nation. A former retired Assistant Inspector General of Police for talking to us here, Mr. Aderile Chinaba, as well as Bishop Johnson from our Abuja studios. Many thanks indeed for having your input into this very important discussion, as well as Colonel Yomi Dare, formerly of the Nigerian Army. He's retired now. Many thanks indeed to you as well for sharing your thoughts with us, and to you for being a part of the show. Many thanks indeed. I am Gimba Umar, and this is State of the Nation. Bye for now.